Welcome to self-discoverywisdom.com, formerly known as Self-Discovery Media. On these podcasts, you're going to hear people who speak from the heart. They've taken the journey in life. Many things have happened to them, but they've changed it to happening for them. And in their strength, their courage, they've discovered their abilities and their wisdom, and they are now sharing it here with you. Do enjoy each show. We bring it to you with love and knowing that it's going to help you on your journey of life. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of Sarah's View of Life. I am your host, Sarah Troy, right here on selfdiscoverywisdom.com. Well, the wedding happened. My son got married on crutches and all. It was at the top of Grouse Mountain in Vancouver BC with spectacular views. It was hot, over 32 degrees and humid. I was kind of baking from the inside out, but perfect for indoor, but not necessarily outdoor wedding. My son broke his ankle 7 weeks ago, just before the wedding, and had to hobble down the aisle on crutches, but nothing was going to stop this day. I escorted him to the aisle where his bride was escorted by her father. Proud moments for both of us. My oldest daughter initiated the wedding while trying to hold back her tears. She did a beautiful job. And I don't know if you ever saw The Princess Bride, but there's a part there where this really weird priest is marrying the reluctant bride to the overbearing groom. And I can't even mimic what he did, but it was the way he used his voice. We're gathered here today, and my daughter started off with that, which kind of made everybody laugh and relax. My youngest daughter and her husband were the master in arms, playing off each other with humor and great jokes. When it came for my daughter, Tasha, to make a speech, she had us all in tears, referring to when they discovered they were having a child with a disability, how her brother just stepped up and said, "Doesn't matter, we'll love the child anyway, and we're there for you." She bored everyone to tears, and I thought I was going to be the mushy one. Instead, I was the love reminder, referring to tender to one's garden of love. The food was wonderful, and though it were a little hot and busy to eat, after the speeches, the cake was cut, and off to the dance floor where the sun had gone down and it was cooler. After a while, the bride and father danced. I got to dance with my son, or should I say, I danced around him. He was on crutches, and I just took his arm and swirled and danced with him rather than just kind of standing there. It was a laugh. We all had a hell of a time. I had a hell of a time finding a dress for the occasion, getting it just 10 days before the wedding. I am not too formal, so free was hard for me to find. And there were about 3 of us who wore very bright colors. I was one of them. My best friend Jan was another. My daughter was another. She wore beautiful hot pink with black flowers. Mine was a red dress with pink flowers. My friend was multicolored, and most other people were kind of more subdued colors. The bride and groom looked beautiful. The bride wore a very classic satin dress, off the shoulder, long sleeve, and of course the groom, and rather nice. All of the groom and the groom's men, 2 best men, wore the same suits, slightly plaid gray suits with green bow tie. Looked really gorgeous. People really did turn up and show up, including my grandson, little Roro, who is 3, and he was to walk down as a ring bearer, along with Jessica's nephew, Tony. And Tony is a little older, so he wore long pants and a bow tie and shirt, and little Roro wore a kilt, because his daddy is Scottish. Even the baby wore a kilt, and it was just absolutely gorgeous. And he walked down the aisle in his green vest, little bow tie, and his kilt, and he's got blonde hair and these big, beautiful eyes, and everybody just melted, including Nana here. It was a wonderful, carefree wedding. And it was wonderful to see people I haven't seen in over 20 years. His father and I are divorced. So I mean, we're there for special occasions and celebrating birthdays and things like this with the grandchildren. But obviously, we haven't been together for 24 years. So many people on his side of the family I hadn't seen in an extremely long time. Although there was never enough time to truly catch up with people. You're saying hello, you're exchanging words, and then you're kind of whirling on to the next. It was still nice to get to speak to people. Anyway, it came to speech time. And as I said, my daughter Tasha gave this beautiful, heartfelt speech, and I had to come along and do a speech, which, kind of is me. It's mama. I refer to the garden of love, how to plant things that are going to grow over the period of time, grow strong and deep rooted and reach tall. And the seasonal things that you plant every year that are excitement, what are we going to plant this year? And the things that come back and grow every year if you prune them right, the rose garden, etc. And to be able to look back at your garden 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years from now and see how beautiful that garden is, how strong it is, and how much joy it has brought to you. But to pay attention to the weeds, for weeds can take over very quickly without you knowing, and to make sure that you get them before they get you. That was the gist of my speech. I did it over and over in my head many times. I wrote it a couple of times, but I cannot read a speech like that. Bullet point, fine, but even though I had the bullet points in front of me, it was still something that I just let come from the heart. Um, that's the best way for me to speak. So I don't know if I left anything out. Maybe I did. I think I covered the gist of it. A few people came up to me and thanked me for my speech, that it resonated with them. I don't know about the bride and bridegroom. They haven't kind of commented on that. Maybe it was just too much of a tutorial coming from mum, right? But you're in your joyous day. All you can think of is the euphoric love. And sometimes just that reminder that this kind of love does not sustain without work. It doesn't sustain without tending to the garden, weathering the storms, replanting, um, reseeding, definitely weeding. And that is really what life is all about on every level. It is about tending to your garden of life, in their case, the garden of love, and making sure that you do pay attention to what is needed seasonally, yearly, um, in the moment, because it's so easy for time to pass by and for us not to pay attention. And next thing you know, the weeds have taken over. The vine has got aggressive, and all those beautiful things that you planted are being strangled. So, yeah, that was my message to them. Jessica, who's now Jessica Toe, um, my son's surname, his parents are absolutely wonderful. Jean looked beautiful in a navy outfit, all done up, and her husband just wearing a suit, so proud to walk his daughter down the aisle. This is Jessica's second wedding. She was married many years ago. Her daughter just turned 10, now Tyler's stepdaughter. You would have thought it was her wedding. She was having a gas. She even caught the wedding bouquet, which her mum said absolutely not, and danced the night away and had to literally be taken away screaming because she was having way too much fun. But Jessica and Tyler have been living together now for a couple of years. So, Mila is used to it, but now it's official. And with Tyler having broken his ankle and being laid up for the last 7 weeks, there's been a lot of bonding in there. And, I always say, I broke my ankle 18 years ago, and you always wonder why. And then for me, it kind of got me out of heels, which a little drastic to get you out of heels, but maybe it's that time to reflect and to bond. They had all sorts of plans planned for that 7 weeks leading up to the wedding. And instead, it kind of became more of a cocooning, that, will you still love me even though you have to take care of me? And no, we can't go out here and go out there. More bonding time, more conversation time. He was teaching her little Mila how to cook. And, there's always benefits to be got out of things, even though some things can feel catastrophic at the time. Never mind the fact that he was in a lot of pain and unable to walk down the aisle without his crutches. Um, I escorted him to the aisle and kind of hugged him, handed him over, so to speak. But it was, like it was a hot day. He's in a boot. He's on crutches. I know he's in pain, but he's also in joy. The next day we all met for lunch, and of course his leg was swollen. And so it was home for 24 hours to ice it before going away on a mini honeymoon to Whistler. Life has a way of testing us. It has a way of showing us what really is important. And even though we're in these joyous times, sometimes it's a time to reflect. My daughter Tasha with her husband Rob were the master of ceremony in arms. Both of them actually kind of came together through that way, through each of their best friends married, and they were asked to be master of ceremonies at their wedding, and that's how they came to be together. And here we are, some years later, where they were master of arms, for my son's wedding, and they did a great job, playing off each other and supporting each other, and it was wonderful. And of course, their babies, because they had a job to do, were being very well looked after by their best friends, Abby and Brandon, who are aunt and uncle in many ways to these children. And even the little one, 15 months old, in his kilt. Oh, so adorable. And they looked after them and took them home at a certain time period so mum and dad could have some fun, which, mum definitely danced the night away. And that was the thing when the dance floor came up, and after my dance for Tyler and Jessica's dance with her dad, everybody just got on that dance floor. Nobody needed partners. And Jessica's grandmother is 90, and she was on that dance floor dancing for about 8 hours. I mean, not 8 hours. 80% of the time dancing. And even when she sat down, she just started jigging. It was just wonderful to see. I have a little bit of a leg problem, so I can't dance for too long. So I got up now and again, had a little dance, sat down, talked to people, and just took it all in. We're on the top of a mountain overlooking the city. It's all these moths were gathering over, like when we left and had to go down the mountain on the gondola. All these moths came with us. I found one in my bra. People found them in the hat. Even one of them traveled with us all the way home. And it's kind of quite funny to see all that and you have them escort us home. My oldest daughter, who did the marrying of them, she was there with her boyfriend. He left early and she just danced the night away as well, looking beautiful in her dress. And I don't know if she'll ever marry. If she does, there won't be children because for her, traveling is her thing, and she fabulous aunt. As the kids get older, they'll be off to museums and concerts and all sorts of things. She'll show them that way of life. So it was wonderful to see her let her hair down as well. My bestie, who is equivalent to Abby and Brandon in the sense of adopted aunt and uncle, best friends. My best friend Jan and her children, her son, Dave, was the best man and gave the speech. And he is a speech connoisseur. He's just amazing. And what I loved about his speech, because he's known Tyler his entire life, was the way he brought the Toes and the Bernies as families together, how we've grown up and things that they've seen and done. And he brought wit into it, heart into it, and it was a beautiful speech. Nobody ever wants to go after Dave because his speeches are absolutely amazing. So it was just, a wonderful wedding. And It's now over. We had the rehearsal dinner, which we saw them and had, gatherings, and then the wedding, and then after the wedding, lunch, which we kind of went over the wedding and the joy of it. And then I stayed with my friend a couple more days, Jan, and saw all sorts of people. And, you don't realize how much you're hyping yourself up to it. And there's the moment, and then they're gradually coming down. And then by Monday, I was catching a late ferry home. I was exhausted. And Tuesday, pretty tired. So this is why the show is late coming out this week, because it was tiring. Um, Beautiful, but tiring, especially in that heat. Because although it said 32, I think it was a lot more with the humidity. Um, but so spectacular, the view up there. If you ever come to Vancouver, BC, you have to go up Grouse Mountain. You can go and see the bears. And of course, if you go up in the winter, it's a marvelous skiing mountain. But if you're there in the evening, you can overlook the city and just see it going miles out, all the lights. And it's really beautiful. Hadn't been up there for years. They got engaged on a mountain. Tyler planned for 4 months where they were preparing to hike Golden Ears Mountain, which is quite a hike. And they packed up their gear and they went up there. Then all of a sudden she hears her music, a favorite song. Thinks, who's playing this? And oh, there's a cameraman over there. Then turns around and sees that Tyler, my son, is on his knees proposing. And the cameraman got it all. And they set up camp for them. And that was the engagement. And then, of course, they had to get married on a mountain, right? So I hope and pray that their love is one that will go to the end of time. Neither one of them are young, 35 and 39. Jessica's been there before. Tyler's had long relationships before. This is the one. And I do pray that they do tend to their garden. Their father and I didn't last, but I don't think our love was as strong as solid when we came together. Things about self-awareness or self-help or self-love was just not talked about back then, was it? And so, that was 42 years ago. It was something that we had to discover to realize that we were just not at all compatible or suited for one another. Tyler and Jess have done their work. They have been in self-discovery of themselves, who they are, what they want. They've been in discovery of each other, sometimes very rocky and tumultuous, but they kept pursuing through it to find what was past garbage that they were imposing on each other and what really is important in their relationship with themselves and then with each other. So they've done the work, they've done the journey, and that doesn't mean it's over. It just means it's now getting deeper and deeper because there's a name to it now. There's a ring on it. And everything in life, nothing is going to happen unless you work on it. Nada. Everything has to be worked on. Your self-discovery of who you are, why you are, what you're here to do, the essence and the beauty of you, your unique self, is what you bring to the table and with everything in life. So always be true to who you are. And if you don't know who you are yet, be willing to take that journey and that discovery. Be willing to know who you are so that you can bring the best of you forth. And if that's not enough for someone else, that's their issue, not yours. As long as you know that you're bringing the best of you forth, that is all that matters. So the wedding is done. I'm sharing some photographs here. These are just snapshots that other people have taken. The actual photographer took 7,000 photos, and there was a videographer as well. And so it's going to be a while they sort that all out before we get any of the pics. But these are just a few, taken by family and friends. And I can't wait to see all the formal pictures because I know Taiyu Hayward, who I've interviewed before on a documentary he did of the Snake River raft, what they went down. Incredible photography. Here, color that he captures, the moments that he captures are absolutely wonderful. So I can't wait to see his pictures and hopefully to do a re-show with him again, because this was my other daughter's wedding, was his first wedding as a photographer. And now he's done 23 or 27, I think. And, you know, always brings his artistry to it, which is wonderful. So wedding over, they're on the honeymoon. We're all back to work and back to reality, not gearing up for the wedding anymore, now winding down from it. And now it's about September coming closer. What have we got planned for that? We will be celebrating in October my big birthday, my son's big birthday, my son-in-law's big birthday, because we didn't celebrate it as a family. Both of them 40, myself 70, and even kind of recapping the wedding and having fun. So we're going to be going away and doing that and having some family time where we can reminisce and come together and celebrate. So, here we go, folks. Wedding is done. I have a daughter-in-law, Jessica, whom I know loves my son very, very much. And of course, yes, I did introduce them. So I pray everything goes right. I don't want to be blamed if everything goes wrong. And I pray that it is a beautiful marriage. It's always work. It's always rewarding. There's always the ups and downs, like breaking your ankle. But it's how you weather it together. The laughter that you find in those moments and the hugs that speak volumes, that being there for each other. I do miss that. I do miss that. So I'm going to get a dog for my 70th, and hopefully a huggy-wuggy dog, because that's what I need. So, congratulations, Mr. and Mrs. Tome. Long may your marriage be. I wish to look down from the heavens and see that you are still together, enjoying life, loving everything it has to bring, building memories, deep-rooted, beautiful memories that you can look back on over a lifetime and smile in contentment. So, until next week, folks, bye for now. We hope that you enjoyed the show. There are so many more for you here on selfdiscoverywisdom.com. Just go to the podcast tab at the top there and you will see all the many genres and all 3,000 shows ready for your listening. We are here to serve you, to help you on your journey of life, and we know that through inspiration, it begets invitation. We are supported by you, the listeners, and those that we interview. Anything that you can spare us in donation would be greatly accepted, and we do hope that you enjoy the next show.